r/Airbnb hosts. Alex0303 says, repeat guest wants to make a deal. We have a guest that stays in our listing once or twice every month. When he first started booking it, he asked if we would give him a discount and let him pay us directly, since he would be a repeat guest. At that time we declined. Last night he messaged us and said his work schedule has changed and he will now be coming to our town 3 times a week every week. He wants to have a discussion about options for getting a better price and not booking through the Airbnb app. My question is, should we agree to this? I don't mind giving a little discount if he's going to be booking our place every week, but I'm worried about not going through the Airbnb app anymore, because then if something goes wrong, we are not protected. What would you do in this situation? To Love says, I'd have an actual contract drawn up and a deposit. If you want to go this route. Greet Life 1985 says, we do too. We had someone that wanted it 2 weeks a month. Because we have a very tenant friendly local, we had a lawyer write one up for a more long term thing. And then we save money with Airbnb fees, hotel taxes, etc. and pass that on to them. Gdalasin2 says, to add to this, any of my long-term guests I run a standard credit check. Now I'm a real estate agent and I have access to that, but you can sign up for a service and pay for a couple checks. Have them do a standard application, so you have a/credit check/background check on file. Fabulous Tell 1087 says, we do this all of the time as a guest and owner. We have never had a problem, especially if you trust him already as a guest. I see Television 4979 says, I have gone off the platform with repeat guests that I trust, but we still do a lease agreement and deposit. Fitzakotash 5564 says, repeats guests off platform are my favorite. I find they leave the place super tidy and never give me issues. Here to Learn 914 says, I would do it. For what it's worth, there are lots of people out there doing STR without Airbnb. You need to be thoughtful about your insurance and taxes and stuff. It's very doable, and in this case sounds like a safe bet. 73 Easting 6 says, just don't make the deal on the app. But, absolutely, if he is a repeat good guest, let him pay you directly and let him save the fees and taxes. Eastern Astronomer 6 says, this benefits him more than you, because the guest covers most of the fees/taxes. It takes you outside Airbnb, and you lose air cover, and since it is an Airbnb guest you could be booted from the platform for going off platform. Now, all that said, I have set up the exact same scenario myself twice as the guest and it's worked out wonderfully. But, I'm a hypocrite, and wouldn't do it for my rental. Ultimately, how much do you trust the guest? Will your own insurance cover any issues that may arise while he's a guest? Zazie3030 says, I rent outside Airbnb as well, which I prefer, on Furnish Finder, which doesn't have any vetting or insurance. I just have a lease agreement with tenant and ask for a deposit. I do background and criminal checks, but I probably wouldn't if it was someone who had rented consistently before via Airbnb. Sweetberry1 says, my understanding is that you cannot lead a guest off platform for their initial booking, but after that, they don't penalize you. But, having said that, I would never risk making secondary arrangements with them on the platform, lest the algorithm pick something up and flag me and shut me down. They've done it for lesser things. I have regulars that come back year after year and I love it. They get a good deal and I know I'll make a good chunk of change for those dates. r/Airbnb hosts. Greet Big Dream says, will this guest be too much of a pain? Had someone book a 5-day stay during an upcoming event. They immediately reached out to support wanting to cancel and also asked us if they could cancel. Airbnb support reached out saying the guest booked by mistake. We don't have to accept their cancellation. It would be cool if we did. Etc. etc. Since it was all within a half hour of each other, I was quick to say, yeah, crap happens. They can cancel it. I said to the guest, no worries, mistakes happen. If you're ever in the area, we'd love to have you. Guest was super grateful and said he might still try and book with us. He just wasn't ready to commit on the spot. We got to chatting and sure enough, his family is coming in for that event. He asked a few more questions about the property, which maybe should have been a red flag as they are all clearly answered in the listing. He goes to book and can't because it's been cancelled. I send him the booking as an offer and it seems like it's working. The offer expires and the next day he asks me to rescind because he lost his phone. At this point, it's been 5 days. The few listings cheaper than ours have booked and our dynamic pricing tool has raised the price a little. Am I being paranoid/greedy if I just ghost this guy? I've spent more time answering his questions in the last 5 days than I have answering requests and questions for all of our other July/August bookings combined. I don't mind giving him the old rate if he'll be a good guest, but I'm getting concerned he'll be trouble, expect a bunch of extra services, not read the house rules. Until Dadison says, what I've learned in 2 years of hosting is that your gut is telling you something, listen to it. This is not about being greedy. This is about a difficult person. And it seems you are uncomfortable with sending him another offer enough to post it as a question. So listen to your gut. In situations like this, I don't renew the offer. If you renew the offer at the old price, he will find other things to complain about. If you renew the offer and tell him this is dynamic pricing and the prices has gone up, he'll be upset, leave a bad review. People difficult before booking usually are difficult during the booking. In my case, this has always led to a 4-star review. Goombudget says, 100%. Op, just move on. Nothing but downside. Birkin07 says, he didn't lose his phone. He was hunting other options. Just stop correspondence at this point and move on. That's what I've done in similar scenarios. JLMP23 says, I would avoid this whole booking. Especially if there is an event in the area, you'll likely get the spot filled. He seems disorganized, too complicated, full of excuses, already not a good guest, and he hasn't stepped foot on your property. You can still be polite about it and not necessarily ghost him, but you can tell him we cannot host you at this time. We wish you luck in your search for accommodation during this event. If you needed to, depending on how far in the future, you could drop your rate back slightly to attract a new guest, but I'd walk from this guy. Stoned Old Chiller says, you've seen repeated unforced errors like accidental booking, asking questions that have already been answered, losing their phone over the course of a few days, and that's been the only contact you've had with him. He's either lying or such a monumental frick up that I wouldn't want him as a guest anyway. Responsible Eb 2933 says, I would ignore them. Amberoni says, yeah, this is a pass. Guest clearly has trouble following directions and has organizational issues. This could easily translate to problems during their stay. Too much risk. Killida says, move on. Advis or Maleficent 979 says, he's definitely been chatting with other hosts and isn't lose his phone. Drop him. Long Dung Silver Dude says, once a guest cancels, I'm done with them. C Window 5154 says, he's been looking for a better deal the whole time. Fallark says, I blocked off dates recently because a person wanted to book and asked, does your place have heat? Jesus, it's a ski cabin with hundreds of happy guests. Then she asked, if we allow pets, how many pets? This is all in the property description. When I asked if she read the property description, she said I'm from Florida. No joke. Greed Big Dream says, thanks all. I've decided not to take the booking, but rather than ghost just sent a quick message as I hate being in a holding pattern, so I don't want to do that to them either. MSG Read, hey guest name //. Thanks for your interest in the house. I don't think we'll be able to host you at this time. Good luck at the tournament, and I hope you find a great place. r/Airbnb hosts. Significant at 90 to 67 says, guest sent message about cancelling, but hasn't cancelled yet. Hi all, I have an Airbnb in the Milwaukee area. On May 20th, I got a booking for the week of the RNC, July 13th to 20th. Because of high demand, it was a pretty pricey booking, accounting for half of July's revenue. Our cancellation policy is moderate, so they get a full refund if they cancel 5 days ahead of time. The 5-day cutoff rolls around, and the guest messages late at night saying she missed the cancel cutoff by 7 hours, but needs to cancel due to professional reasons, and please give 100% refund. She didn't actually cancel the reservation, just sent a message. I'll let her know that sorry, our cancel policy is what it is, and so while I cannot provide her with a full refund, I will refund her whatever amount we may get if someone rebooks the dates that she was canceling. I provided her with a link for how to cancel a reservation. It's been silence since this time. She hasn't read my message, nor has she moved forward with canceling the reservation. At this point, I really cannot provide her with any sort of refund, seeing as her dates are just a few days away, and even with a high demand event, I'm doubtful that we will get someone to rebook. I guess I'm posting here because I'm wondering if there is anything else I should do. Should I message again and remind her to cancel so that we could potentially get another booking? It's probably unlikely, but I'm nervous that she won't cancel and will be allowed to leave a poor review because I didn't give her a refund. Thanks in advance. Madima says, would love to hear an update on this when she finally gets back to you. I assume she thought her email was her cancellation and is going to be pissed when she finds out she isn't getting a refund. December 256 says, this is the guest's issue to deal with. Proceed with the booking as is, and if she does cancel then I'd still honor the reimbursement of any nights not booked. If it was that pricey she should have purchased insurance. Toward 7338 says, tell her that you are following your cancellation policy for professional reasons. Garlic Breathed says, this is very topical for me. Have just made my own post with a similar question, only it was for 12 nights, and my cancellation policy is firm. I appreciate your idea of sending them a link to how to cancel, as I feel I have a language barrier with my couple, and they still haven't officially cancelled either, and so I can't send them any money unless I can relist and someone else books. I actually phoned us about this because I was also worried that they could leave a poor review, and apparently us have taken note and they have my back. That remains to be seen, but it'd be no harm for you to alert us yourself. Maximum Gaza says, I had this happen. Guest wanted to cancel. I said sure, if we rebook I'll refund then. She didn't cancel. I messaged her to cancel. I texted her number to cancel. I got Airbnb to try to contact her to cancel. Nothing. A few days after her booking came and when she messaged me freaking out, where is my money? I pointed out everything I did to try and get her to cancel. She said, but I sent you a message saying I wanted to cancel. I explained that wasn't good enough. The guest has to actually cancel for it to go through. She was angry, but okay. Indication 7876 says, I wouldn't do a thing you did. What you should have, she is not your child. Hold on to all your communications just in case. She might have travel insurance and is dealing with them, but that's not your concern or job. Paid Authenticator says, there is nothing for you to do at this point, but stick to your policy. If she can't figure out how to cancel, that's on her. Mademarib says, would love to hear an update on this when she finally gets back to you. I assume she thought her email was her cancellation and is going to be pissed when she finds out she isn't getting a refund. Iraling now says, nope. She might have changed her plans to still be able to come when you said no refund. Plans change. She is probably working through it. Just follow your policy. Hungry at 7120 says, if the guest doesn't show up for her stay, any review she leaves can automatically be removed since she never checked in. My brother and I have a moderate refund policy too, and we just don't offer refunds period. Not even the if we rebook we'll refund you line. Just let people know they're free to cancel. Anything else they need to take up with Airbnb support. Within 5 days someone should have their stuff planned out and know if they're arriving or not. And yes, I get emergencies happen and not everything goes according to plan. But at the end of the day you are running a business, you've done your part and provided the service. At that point it's on the guest to decide if they are going to stay or not, or resolve any issues arising when it comes to their trip. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.